G'day everyone, Rune here, and this is chapter 4 of my Princess Kakarat series. In the last chapter, we went over the events of the Master Roshi training arc and the First World Tournament. To quickly recap, unlike in canon where Goku went off on his own, here Kakarat and Vegeta are accompanied by their friends, with Chi-Chi and Yamcha also becoming students of the Old Hermit, wanting to become stronger so that they can help their friends one day take down Frieza. When Roshi tries to get them to bring him back a hot babe, Vegeta and Kakarat decide to use this little test to their advantage and enlist someone to help them in breaking Roshi of his perverted ways. The reason I did this was twofold. First, Vegeta's protectiveness would not allow Kakarat anywhere near Roshi if there was not a plan to make him clean up his act. Second, I've never been a fan of the whole pervert played for laughs cliche. It always struck me as more harassment than anything to laugh at. It's why I was so happy that after the first DB arc, Bulma gained some self-respect and not only stopped using her body as a bargaining chip, but also started beating up Roshi and Krillin whenever they pulled anything. Anyway, because of this they brought along Blonde Lodge, who was more than happy to help, especially when she found out that the oldest of these girls was 15. In the World Tournament, Roshi joins as Jackie Chun like he does in canon, for the same reasons, only to lose to Vegeta. But to his surprise, Vegeta is of the opinion that he still has a long way to go, and Roshi, Krillin and Launch all get brought up to speed on the two Saiyans' backstory. As the after-tournament dinner is winding down, Vegeta and Kakarat decide to go searching for the 4-star ball, while Gohan takes Bulma to the place where he found the Saiyans in order to find their pod. This is where the next chapter begins. The Red Ribbon Army arc starts out relatively the same. They find the 6-star ball, beat up the guys threatening them with guns, but unlike the original, Vegeta and Kakarat are more interested in finding out why these people want them. First off, they just pointed guns at them, and while those things don't really work on Saiyans, they are very deadly against other humans. Second, they refuse to tell them why they wanted the balls when asked. If the guns were simply an act of desperation thing, they would have told the Saiyans why they were so desperate. So something was seriously not right here. This is confirmed when Colonel Silver tries shooting them out of the air with a rocket launcher and then starts trying to interrogate them. Tell me why you're gathering the Dragon Balls.
We could ask the same of you. Only I would add, why are you so desperate to get them that you'd shoot 2 children out of the sky just to get it?
Cheeky brat, aren't you?
No, just not stupid. You said you were part of this Red Ribbon Army? What is that? A gymnastics team?
Yes, Kakarat is very annoyed and is going to be sassing this guy as much as possible. When Silver tries to take their bag, Vegeta and Kakarat start playing keep away with it, just really having fun aggravating Silver after you just shot them out of the sky. Eventually, Silver manages to get the drop on Kakarat and punches her in the gut, knocking the wind out of her, and prompting Vegeta to punch him so hard he goes flying into a wall of the building.
You didn't kill him, right?
No, but he'll be knocked out for a long time. Come on, if these clowns are looking for the balls too, we'll be sure to run into more of them. We'll get answers then. Meanwhile, Bulma finds the pod that Vegeta and Kakarat had landed in and begins trying to remove it from all of the plants that had grown over it. When she finally manages to get it open, she trips and her hand lands on the console. Not noticing, she picks herself up and places the pod in a capsule. What she doesn't know is that she's activated a signal that was now transmitting the pod's location on a very particular frequency. Back with Kakarat and Vegeta, they are now coming up to Jingle Village and are very much feeling the cold. So much so that Kakarat, being the younger and smaller of the two, and thus more affected by the cold, passes out mid-flight, causing Vegeta to have to catch her and find them some shelter ASAP. He spots a small girl walking in the snow and lands next to her to ask where the nearest settlement is. We then cut to later when Kakarat is waking up in her house, with Vegeta next to her, very relieved to see her awake. Vegeta fills her in on what happened and hands her some warm clothes that the little girl Suno and her mother had found for her. Vegeta had already changed while he waited for her to wake up. Vegeta and Kakarat explain to Suno and her mother that they are looking for the Dragon Balls, and when they ask if the Saiyans are with the RR, they say no. They also ask what they know about the RR because they had already had a run-in with them once and they want to know what their deal is. After being given an explanation, Vegeta and Kakarat conclude that the RR must be planning some kind of take over the world wish, but like the Pilaf gang had, only, not comically incompetent about it. The two Saiyans promise to kick the RR soldiers stationed here out, so that Jingle Village can live in peace again. As they are about to leave, two RR soldiers show up and Kakarat gets a good line.
Just to clarify so I know whose butt I'm about to kick, these two are with the red ribbon, right?
Kakarat and Vegeta storm the stronghold, introducing themselves as representatives of Jingle Village, and that they are there to inform Red Ribbon that they have won out their welcome. They are there to make sure that they leave. When General White mocks them about being children and that they'd never be able to stand against the RR, Vegeta just smiles.
Oh, I was so hoping we'd get to do this the hard way.
Just don't go overboard, please. When fighting Metal Jacket, they're able to take him out fairly quickly because they realize that he's a metal man thanks to Vegeta being able to tell how hitting metal feels. So they just focus on wearing him out until he runs out of battery.
Hey Veggie, do you think Bol would like this metal man to tinker with?
Doesn't hurt to ask. We'll take him to her when we're done here.
With Purple, Kakarat still has her silly little competition with him, while Vegeta stands in the background wondering why she's humouring the ninja. Until Kakarat smiles at Purple and says that he doesn't seem like the kind of guy that really fits with the RR. That he seems just too nice and fun to belong to something as nasty as an organisation that thinks attacking two kids who, from their perspective, seem completely harmless is completely okay. She bets that the RR doesn't even give him any true respect deserving of a ninja. She suggests that he leave the RR and live in Jingle Village. With his skills, she's certain everyone would want to learn from him, and with his friendly competitiveness, he's sure to be very popular. Purple actually looks quite tempted by this offer, but alas, General White chimes in and threatens Purple back into submission. Running up the steps, he tries to sick Android 8 on the Saiyans, only for Android 8 to be Android 8. When Purple pulls out the remote and explains that Android 8 has a bomb in his body, Vegeta grabs it from him before the ninja is even able to finish his threat. With the remote now being held by Vegeta, Kakarat flies forward and punches Purple into a wall, knocking them out. With him now dealt with, they turn to Android 8 and ask why he didn't fight back. When he explains that he's scared of fighting, Kakarat sympathizes, understanding that fighting other living beings, where anything could go wrong at a moment's notice, can be a bit scary. But she thinks that he's still fighting back in his own way. After all, he did stand up to Purple, he just didn't use his fists. When Android 8 introduces himself, Kakarat asks if he likes his name. When he says no, she suggests that he give himself a new name, since the RR clearly aren't good people and didn't want him to have a name outside of a designation. When he can't think of one, he asks the Saiyans to think of one, and Kakarat comes up with the name Yatsuo, which comes from the Japanese word for 8. The fight with the Jiggler goes about the same, only with Vegeta pulling off the freeze plan because he doesn't want a repeat of what happened when they got there. And General White doesn't get a chance to take the mayor hostage because Vegeta is able to stop him from getting his gun in the first place. Having two Saiyans around is very handy. With all of that done, they go back to Jingle Village where Yatsuo gives them the 2-star ball. They also discover that the Dragon Radar is broken. But this isn't as big of an inconvenience as it is in canon because they were going to head to Bulma's anyway to give her the Metal Man that they now have in the capsule that they found in the stronghold. When they arrive, Bulma is very excited to see them and is very happy to see that they brought her a present. She explains to them that she started work on the pod and it's not only making her interstellar travel project progress quickly, but it's also helping with several other pet projects of hers too. Upon meeting Bulma's parents and hearing their comments about using the Dragon Balls to find them someone, Vegeta and Kakarat get the feeling that they've just discovered what Bulma was actually going to wish for. Though Kakarat does still ask what making out means, since Vegeta had been keeping her away from those kinds of terms.
I'll tell you when you're older.
The pirate's treasure doesn't change much, just with Kakarat and Vegeta using their noses to follow after Krillin and Bulma, so they catch up before Krillin gets beaten up too much. Also, with both Vegeta and Kakarat fighting, Blue's telekinesis doesn't help him as much, so he loses pretty fast. The only thing that changes is that Launch doesn't try to steal the diamond and is actually preparing some snacks inside the house when Blue shows up. And she's in blue form, so she has the common sense to not run out until he's gone so she can untie everyone. I also can't think of any big changes to Penguin Island, so I'm going to skip it. They eventually find the 4-star ball with Bora, and Kakarat sits down with the man to explain, very politely, the importance the ball had to her. Hearing her out, Bora decides to give the ball back to her without any fuss. She then asks, out of curiosity, what the massive tower was. Bora explains that it's an ancient relic that very few have managed to climb. Cue Mercenary Tao showing up. When he tries to kill Bora, Kakarat and Vegeta are able to save him, with Vegeta catching the spear and Kakarat catching Bora. Remember, they can both fly. They don't need to wait for the Nimbus to come to them first, so their reaction time is much faster. Setting both down on the ground, the two turn to Tao and give him the look. And they're not even Super Saiyans. Tao, shocked that these two children can actually fly, asks just what in the world they are.
I'm Princess Kakarat de Plant.
And I am Vegeta, protector to the princess.
And we will be your doom.
The fight with Tao is not easy. Unlike a lot of other people that the Saiyans have fought, Tao knows to separate them fast and not let them gang up on him. So he breaks out his Dodon part right away, hitting Kakarat. This sends Vegeta into a frenzy. He thinks that Kakarat is seriously hurt, he's not thinking straight, and so Tao is able to use this to his advantage and knock him out. Taking their bag, Tao leaves. A few minutes later, the two Saiyans wake up, first Kakarat and then Vegeta. Just like in canon, the 4-star Dragon Ball is what saved Kakarat. Knowing that they're going to need some more strength, they decide to climb Korin's tower. There, they meet Korin, who tells them of the sacred water. He explains that they need to take it from him in order to earn it, and so the training begins. When Korin tries to throw Kakarat's pendant over the edge, Vegeta quickly flies to catch it in mid-air and brings it back, much to the relief of Kakarat. He then tells Korin not to try that again if he knows what's good for him. Korin thinks that that might not have been his smartest idea and asks what the pendant is, to which Kakarat explains that it's a memento from her father. Yeah, he definitely messed up. That night, Vegeta is tempted to just take the water while Korin is asleep, only to smile with a soft sigh.
Kakarat would kill me if I cheated.
Eventually, after much training and using teamwork, the Saiyans are able to get the water from Korin, with Kakarat getting him to let go of it and Vegeta quickly moving in to grab it. It is then that Korin reveals to them that the water was just rainwater and everything they were going through was training. Vegeta and Kakarat are surprised, and they tell Korin that he didn't need to lie to them about the water. They're Saiyans, training is always going to be twice as effective for them. They were only after the water because they thought it would be faster, and they were rather on a time crunch. Speaking of, Tao has just arrived back in the village, and is about to kill Bora and Upa when Vegeta and Kakarat arrive to protect them. This fight is similar to the first, with Tao trying to take out one of the Saiyans with a Dodon part right away, only to discover that they are both able to take it now. Now with two strong fighters prepared and able to smash him, he immediately jumps into his forgive me trick, only to be met with two very unimpressed looks. Like, really, Kakarat may like to give people second chances, but not if they're already confirmed killers. Realizing that he's not going to trick them, Tao throws the bomb and tries to escape, only for Vegeta to kick the bomb into the air and blow the assassin up. From there, the Saiyans head to where the last two balls they can pick up on their radar are, realizing that it must be the HQ of the RR. This group has caused far too much trouble already. They need to be taken down. On their way, Bulma's drone finds them and the group at Kame House realize where the two are going. While everyone else piles into the plane, Chi-Chi zooms on ahead on the Nimbus. She catches up while they're fighting, surprising the Saiyans. Chi-Chi explains that the others are on their way, to which Vegeta says that they better hurry up if they plan on getting any action. They actually end up doing the job so fast that they are able to get to Commander Red and Officer Black before Red is killed. Enraged, Red rants about how he'd been so close to becoming tall, which then leads to the altercation with Black. But when Black tries to kill him, Kakarat catches the bullet and saves his life.
let me get this straight. You caused all that suffering, who knows how many lost lives, all for something as petty as being tall. Are you serious?
Kakarat proceeds to rant about this for a good few minutes, ripping into Red for all the suffering he's caused. Meanwhile, Chi-Chi, Vegeta, and Black are just kind of watching, completely stunned or very happy that they're not on the receiving end of her anger. Kakarat tells him that death is too good for someone like him. She's going to take him to whatever the Earth equivalent to the Galactic Patrol is and make sure that they throw him into the nastiest prison cell they have for the rest of his days. She then turns to Black and says that that goes for him too. He is just as guilty for everything that has happened as Red is. At that point, no one really wants to argue with her. And that, everyone, is where I'm going to end the story for now. Join me next time as we get into the fighting competition with Baba. I'm Rune. See you next chapter.